Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
Hey Chris, what do you think about Daft Punk Make the Tron Legacy soundtrack? Well, Wendy Carlos did, I thought, an amazing job. Or was it Walter Carlos? Either way, I'm looking forward to the movie, and I hope it's a good movie. And I do like Daft Punk, although they kind of need to do they need to do more music. Like they need to kind of expand their range. Rat Attack could have done a good job with it too, as could have Limbic System, I believe. Will Apple ever make an iPad with a 15-inch screen? Potentially. Will they? No idea. Is Linux or Windows faster? Yes. Chris, do you want to get a cat? No. Windows 7 32 or 64-bit for my MacBook Pro. Go 64-bit. What's your opinion on 2012? Well, in my opinion, it's going to come after 2011 and just before 2013. Windows 7 or Mac? Well, one's an operating system and the other's a computer. There's really no comparison there. Kind of a stupid question, wasn't it, Pixie? How about IBM? Yeah, how about it? Preferred browser for MacBook Pro? Google Chrome, Safari, really any WebKit-based browser makes me happy. What do the lights above your monitors represent? I don't know really they represent anything. I mean, they're not really religious. They're not carrying some kind of political agenda, but they tell the time. go.tagjag.com/TIX. That's where you can get more of the information for the clocks. What are your favorite chips? I am enjoying Pop Chips, actually. They sent a few, which I uploaded the review of the other day, and some people on YouTube had a complete and utter meltdown. Chris, you're talking about food. Yeah, because I eat. I am human, after all. I thought they were interesting enough to share. Should I get Windows 7 or Mac? Yes. What are your favorite processor? My favorite ones are the CPU varieties. I like those more than the GPUs. Those are my favorite processors, the CPUs. Because of course CPU, Chris Pirillo University, CPU. How's the MacBook Pro working out for you? It could do better. Right now, its routine is aerobic exercise 3 times a week and then anaerobic exercise 2 days a week. But it really doesn't do much on, reps. It does like 5 or 6 and then it's done. So, workouts really aren't that strong with the MacBook Pro. What are the chances of Microsoft making its own computer hardware like Apple? Slim and none. I mean, in terms of the same way that Apple does it. Now, Microsoft, of course, makes their own hardware, mice and keyboards. They used to have their own series of wireless routers. But in terms of them making their own PC, I don't think it's going to happen. They would likely offend all their OEMs, which is the entire model for Windows, is to let other companies take the operating system, license it, and then build their own hardware around it. I've long argued that Microsoft needs to make its own computer. That's just me. I don't think they'll ever do it, though. Even though they've been known to offend their users in the past, specifically their partners, they had something called Plays for Sure, which was the Windows Media marketplace of sorts. They had different vendors who had different offerings, and they pretty much eliminated all of them when they created the Zune, which they needed to do. What are your opinions on the Courier? I said this a couple weeks ago. Talking about it is just stupid, and anybody who talked about it was stupid because it was nothing more than a prototype. Might as well have been talking about flying cars and jetpacks. And lo and behold, Microsoft's not doing Courier. So anybody who posted any information on it just now kind of looks stupid. Yes, Macs can get Trojans, however, they are spelled differently than the way you spelled Trojans there. What do I think about Microsoft Surface? I think it's largely flat, and I also think you can interact with it by way of touch. I've done videos on the Surface. They come to Gnomedex, my annual conference here in Seattle. Would you prefer the HP Slate? I think that question was Windows 7 versus the WebOS. Slate would have failed on Windows 7. I'm glad they eliminated that, but it has the idea of the Slate, or like the HP Hurricane, will likely see success with WebOS. Have I said Happy Mother's Day to your mother? Not to your mother, to my mother, yes. What virus protection software do you use? If you do, I generally use Mac OS X. Why are you harsh on the English spelling? Because I'm an English teacher by trade, and poor spelling really gets in the way of communication. I don't understand how anybody could expect to make a career for themselves in any industry without the ability to communicate in a written capacity. When did I start live streaming? A little over 3 years ago, I believe. Different camera now, much better quality too. What do I think about 3D TVs? I think was the question. I think TVs will have 3D capabilities built in at some point. It won't even be an option. It'll just, be there. Not yet, but pretty soon. How's my Krellbo smell there, Pixie? iMac Touch, will they make one? It's likely. I wouldn't be surprised if Apple pushed iMac to touch. But, that being said, OS X itself, Mac OS X on the desktop, was not optimized for touch, which is one of the reasons why the iPhone OS was developed. You'd never likely see Mac OS X on a touch device like this. The interface for it, completely different paradigm. How long was I on Tech TV? 2 sweet and wonderful years. I want Apple to make a sweet digital camera. They have. It's called the iPhone, and it will improve incrementally. That has replaced a lot of people's cameras. In fact, I use my iPhone camera more than I use a camera that is capable of shooting higher quality photos. Do you think that having the iPhone for Verizon could almost be toxic for Apple? Probably not for Apple, but speculating on the iPhone moving to Verizon, when it happens, if it happens. Until then, we got to deal with what we deal with. Talking about it's all speculation. I hate speculation, unqualified speculation. Just it annoys me because it doesn't further the conversation at all. You can sit there and wish in one hand and crap in the other, and at the end of the day, what do you got? What is my favorite computer? The one that I'm using at any given time. Who's my favorite philosopher? I gotta think about that. Am I a gamer? If you count Tetris, then yes. Cheap way to back up file. Affordable backup software. Actually, I have coupons for online backup. Go.tagjag.com/backblaze and go.tagjag.com/spideroak. I think 10% on each of them. Did I see Iron Man 2 yet? No. But I did watch Superman 3 last night. What is the best virus protector? Probably a latex condom. Wait, you mean for computers? Do I like T-Mobile? No more than I like any company that is like T-Mobile. I have no affinity. What's the best way to learn English? Oh, God. Well, first of all, use the spell checker that was likely baked into the program that you're using right now. Know how to spell. What? Do I use Ventrilo? Not so much anymore. Started using Mumble for a while. And then I don't know what happened to it. We had it working for a little bit and then stopped using it. How can I get free tech stuff? You probably see what people are throwing away. Check Craigslist. I don't recommend it. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Mac OS X has a spell checker built into it. Sorry, Windows users. Sorry. What am I going to do with the old MacBook Pro? Skeet shooting. Been thinking about taking that up and was looking for something that was a bit more hefty for instead of a clay pigeon. We'll likely use it for that target practice. What processor is your iMac using? Probably the one inside. That's just a guess, though. Did I give my other iPad away? Right now, I lent it to a friend who's helping me with Gnome Decks. Can I have a Starburst? I don't know. Can you? What's my favorite gadget blog? Typically the one that I'm currently reading. Although, going back to the Starburst question, I can't eat them because they contain partially hydrogenated oils and likely high fructose corn syrup. Do I think Craigslist or eBay is better? Yes. Did I ever own a Commodore 64? I did not. My family did. But I got to use it. And sugar. I think he meant to type sugar. What are my Mac Pro specs? Well, it doesn't wear glasses. I can't even tell you my prescription. Do I have any classic video game consoles? No, but I have emulators. What age do I expect to live to? Hopefully of empires. Do I like IE8? If I did, would you expect me to admit it in public? Is overclocking worth it? And just think about it from your processor's point of view. I mean, how would you feel if someone kept pushing you, well past your limits? You wouldn't like it too much. Just think about your processor's feelings for a minute. I always, suggest people underclock their processors. I mean, it's great for their self-esteem. Because anybody who's overclocking is obviously overcompensating for, short cases. Do I like the iPad? Yes. Are you diabetic? No. What is the best website builder? It's relative. That's impossible to answer. There's hundreds of ways to build a website. That'd be a good blog post, huh? 100 ways to build a website? Is Mac a PC? Yes, it can be, and it likely, I guess, bottom line is Office or iWork. I would choose iWork because of its fit and finish. I wish Microsoft would really make Office for the Mac not suck, because currently it does. It's bad. It's nasty. It's not even. It wouldn't even be worth free right now. I'm waiting for some interesting questions to float through. My favorite energy drink? Coffee. What us EULA? An end user license agreement? Do I need virus protection software for my Mac? Need? Probably not as much as you would need it for if you're running Windows. Am I short or long-sighted? I think you meant near or far-sighted. I'm nearsighted. Would I consider iTunes bloatware? Yes, I think iTunes is just nasty. I don't like iTunes at all. Do I like Facebook? It's a website. Can MySpace ever be popular again? Ooh, that's a really good question. They got their work cut out for them. I think it's possible. Probable? God, Facebook seems to change their policies in regards to privacy every other week, and they're not losing any mind share or market share anytime soon. Is there a way to sync iPods, iPhones, or iPads without iTunes? Not completely, but it is possible. You want a new camcorder? Any recommendations? Get as much as you can afford. I don't use a music manager because I listen to most of my music in an ad hoc capacity, either through Pandora or Rhapsody. Did someone just say MySpace is too spammy now? 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 As opposed to then? I do pull up Groove Shark every once in a while. Can you put Rhapsody songs on an iPod? Yes, with the Rhapsody app. My take on preservatives? I'm generally against them. How should you monetize your website? Probably with advertising. Mail or entourage? I'd say mail. How do you make a website? Well, you generally do this, and then a little bit of this, and then that. And it's Do you think Miley Cyrus is hot? Could be, depending on where she's at. I mean, is she in California right now? Could be a little hot down there. But if she's in Alaska, maybe it's a bit more cool. Either way, I've never been close enough to feel her. Something about a European version of Gnome Decks? Yeah, if I had an events team over there, I'd do a Gnome Decks in Europe. I'd do a Gnome Decks anywhere in the world if I had events teams. Do I like 7-Up? I think soft drinks are evil, actually. All soft drinks. Every single one of them. Whether they have sugar, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial sweeteners. You should stop drinking fruit juices, anything with sugar in it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. It's all bad. It's all bad. It's basically it's a poison. It's just not a fast acting poison. You're killing your liver. Real sugar, it's debatable. You know, anything that you have too much of is bad. Ultimately, you know, your body is gonna whittle it down to glucose. You know, that's what it uses for energy. But sugar is in my opinion, a drug. Will Kindle survive? Good question. I think it will, if only because Amazon's not going anywhere, and Jeff Bezos is pretty stubborn, and they've got great relationships, established relationships. Do I use Picasa 3? Yes, and I recommend it for any operating system, Linux, Mac OS X, or Windows. Free, easy way of organizing photos. Do I watch V on ABC? I haven't gotten into the new series yet. I haven't had a lot of time. But I like the old version of V. What's your homepage in your browser? I think it's just whatever the default is. Ultimately, I never really look at it. GNOME 3? Don't know. Whoa, hey, dude. We don't talk about pirating software here. Because you talk about pirating software, we basically have to pass your IP address along to the local FBI agency to get it on record. I would not admit that in public, ever. Even if you think it's cool and you're bragging about it. Not cool. Not cool. Will Facebook cost money? Do I look like I have a crystal ball in front of me? I really don't know. Do I watch Seinfeld? Yes, I still catch reruns. Sometimes you can hear me listening to it. Sometimes. I gotta be careful about that because I don't have redistribution rights. What do I think about Python? I think about Python about as much as I think about Anaconda. Not as much as I think about Viper, though. ASP. Inconsequential. What would you recommend? That you find something else to do right now. Okay, that's enough for the questions. We've answered 1 billion of them, right, Pixie? Her tail's wagging. She's happy. She's happy. Wag your tail, Pixie. Wag your tail for the camera. Wave goodbye. Wave goodbye. Good girl. Wave goodbye. Wave bye. Wave goodbye to everybody. Good girl. Good puppy.